anyway, we're going to start right out with Paul Kavanaugh, and he is a banker. You're at the bank, at Arrow Bank.
Yes, I'm the fraud manager.
Where's that located?
We're based out of Glens Falls.
Out of Glens Falls.
But
Okay,
we
great.
have branches all over the area.
Yeah, I understand. Fraud.
Yes.
What can you do? Are you the person that calls me up and says, somebody's just took $5,000 out of your account, did you authorize it?
So it depends.
Oh, okay.
It really depends on the situation. There's a variety of different fraud that we see and we deal with, from debit card fraud
and
to
we
check
have some
fraud.
slides that we're going to bring up too.
Yeah, so we have a slide with some of the common scams that we see.
Okay, could you bring the first slide up, please?
So those are some of the common scams that we see.
Okay, and we'll leave that up while you talk about it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different things that go on with it. The computer pop-ups, the imposter scams, the romance scams, the phishing and smishing. Those are some of the big ones that we see, and those are usually involved with other parts of a scam. So it might be a text or an email or a phone call that initiates it, or online too for the romance scam. So there's a lot of different ways that
people still fall for those romance scams?
Absolutely, all the time.
I mean, even though they're so blatant.
You would think so, but they establish relationships with people online.
Yeah, they do it insidiously.
Not really. It's usually a group of people that are working together to coordinate this.
You may not even get the same person answering.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But those are also some of the most difficult scams to convince people that they're a victim of, because they have this relationship with them.
They want that relationship with something, with someone.
Yep. A lot of them are elderly or isolated, or looking for love, obviously. So they believe whatever these people that they're talking to say.
And the purpose is to get their money.
Sometimes, yes. A lot of times it's money. If they don't have money, though, they will use them to launder money through.
Really? They launder? How do they launder money?
So they create fake checks. They'll have them deposit these fake checks.
Oh.
Then they'll take the cash out or transfer the money elsewhere before the checks get returned.
Okay, and then they found out it was a bounce check.
Right. So now the victim is left with a negative balance in their account that they're going to owe the bank money, and the scammer got free, clean cash.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk. Okay, you mentioned I guess the screen. Let's bring the screen up. Okay, let's talk about these in kind of in general. What other scams would you run into that would affect a bank, for instance?
So a lot of them have to do with people allowing access to their internet banking, because that allows the scammer to access their transaction history, their account information, some personal information on them that they have online, and then they can use that account to do other things with. Like I said, bad checks are a big one right now.
Bad checks? Okay.
Counterfeit checks. So with the check fraud right now, after the pandemic, check fraud exploded.
Because you have
it's
to stay
extremely tough,
ahead of the curve.
Yep, absolutely. We can't keep up with it. We had to create a whole new department just to handle check fraud because of the explosion after the pandemic.
Now, I was told by someone, and maybe you can bear this out, they said that they had put a check in the mail for their taxes. Then they got a letter that they hadn't paid their taxes. So now they're saying, but I wrote a check. Then when they checked, when they looked into it, they found out that somebody had apparently erased it, or tell me what's going on.
So there's actually a big group in the area that was going around stealing checks from mailboxes. The mail is the #1 place where checks are stolen throughout the postal service, anywhere. If you mail a check, expect it to be stolen. I always tell people.
What if you mail it directly at the post office?
Doesn't matter. They have people inside the post office who steal checks. That's all they do. Is the post office, the mailboxes, anywhere that they can get mail that would have a check.
So you're saying these are employees that are
Could be.
They could be.
Could be.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you mail a check, expect it to be stolen. That's my rule of thought with those.
So how do they steal? I mean, what do they do? How do they get the amount off, and how do they?
Tell
me more.
So there's chemical washing procedures that they can use. Different agents that'll help them remove the ink without damaging the checks.
So what if I use a Sharpie?
Doesn't matter. they can still wash it. A lot of times what they do is they'll recreate a different check with it. So they'll scan an image of it, and then they can use
eraser. Yeah, they can erase it,
different programs.
With AI,
to
they
create,
can do almost anything
to create a new check. So a lot of times they actually don't do anything with that original check other than take the information off of it and create new checks.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So how does the bank find that out?
Usually when a customer says, "I didn't write that check."
Oh, okay.
So we don't have monitoring for a lot of those things. I'm not going to get into our processes.
No, that's okay. No, but because it's almost insurmountable.
It is.
What you have to deal with.
It
because
is.
they're always ahead of the curve.
Yep.
Because you aren't aware of what they're doing until they do it.
Right. Which is the same thing why fraud is so difficult to detect, because we don't know what our customers are doing either. So if a customer does a legitimate transaction, we don't know if it's legitimate or not unless they're telling us it's not sometimes.
Unless they ask you, why are you taking, would they ask, suppose I go to the bank and I say, I want $5,000 out in cash. Would you ask? Well, why?
We should be asking, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, why are you taking that out? And I say, well, because I'm going to Las Vegas.
So large cash withdrawals are another red flag, right? Because scammers like cash because you can't track
gift card.
cash. Gift cards are the same thing because you can liquidate those for cash pretty easily, and it's clean money. So that's how they go through the money laundering process, using the people that are victims to launder the money for them.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if you're aware of a guy named Pierogi. Well, that's his screen name. He's on YouTube. And he actually tries to warn people, and he gets these scammers to call him. I mean, now he doesn't get them to do it, but they call him, and he'll yank them along. And then he allows them to get into a fake computer that he has to show the public how they get into your bank account. Take your money, and they take it out of one account and then tell you that they're giving you $5,000, but they really took it out of your other account. And these guys, they must stay up all night long.
They've got call centers of people who do these things.
He goes into their call
overseas,
centers.
and
he reverses it so he can go into their call center, and actually says to the guy, "Well, how come you're eating lunch now?" And the guy can't understand, how do you know I'm doing this? But he's able to reverse it,
But the thing with the computers is computers don't get hacked, the people do. 9 times out of 10, someone is allowing access to their computer by downloading an app to their phone or the computer.
You gotta be careful what you're...
So that you just gave the scammer access to everything. Yeah, so that's usually
I'm really, I don't click on anything that, unless it's something. Even if it's something that a friend sends me, I don't always click on it because I don't know, maybe they got scammed, and I don't want to be the one to do that.
Right. Always call a known number to verify these things too. If you receive an email, a lot of times you'll get emails or texts that sound like it could be something legitimate, but you're not sure. Call a known number to verify if that is good or not. If you're getting a text or an email from Amazon or someone saying that, hey, there's this pending transaction,
and we need your zip code, and
they don't do those things, right? Like PayPal's not going to warn you about a transaction coming out. No, they don't care, right? Unless you tell them that it's not legitimate. So you need to monitor your activity yourself.
Exactly.
Don't rely on these services because a lot of times they're scams.
Well, and many times they'll say, click on here to verify or whatever it is, And if you put your browser over it and just kind of hover it over it, and then on the lower left-hand side it'll show, and it's usually a bit or something. It's never what you think it is.
Right.
Not only that, but I got one just yesterday or something, and it says, and it had to do with something official. And I looked up at the address, and it was like in NZ for New Zealand or something, another country. And I said, really, you think that I believe this?
Well, a lot of people don't look at those things, right? They're just clicking around or clicking on the emails. They see, oh, this is from Spectrum, but if you open up the email and looked at the email address, it's from some Gmail account.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So,
and I always look up there, and I also hover over the thing just to kind of see, well, what is that area? What is that website that they're setting? And it's usually a bit or something.
Right.
In other words, they've hidden it, so you don't know what it is.
Or they make small changes to
small changes.
To the URL.
Yeah, and that's the other thing they said that you got to be careful about, that they will make it look almost identical, but usually there's a misspelling or something in there that you can kind of pick at. What is the most common that you're running into lately?
So actually, a lot of those pop-up scams are the ones that we see those every single day. You know, where someone is on a website somewhere, they get a pop-up, they call the number on the pop-up, they allow the
don't do that.
person to access their computer,
do that.
and then they're getting phone calls from someone claiming to be the bank or the FBI saying they're under investigation, and that's how we get to the point where they're then trying to take money out or pay them with gift cards in order to get out of this investigation.
Or you're helping us do an investigation or
Right.
something, or anything like that.
Well, child porn is the big one now. So they'll say, "Oh, we found child porn on your computer," and
Yeah.
that scares the living daylights out of people. And they'll go and withdraw money from their account and give it to a courier, or they'll go buy gift cards and give those to the scammer. So there's a lot of different
they're thinking,
things.
yeah, I mean, and they haven't found anything actually. It's just that
Right.
they're
Right.
doing those things. Yeah.
But people think like, oh, they've been hacked because they allowed someone onto their computer now, so
Yeah.
they know someone's been in their computer. So they're very good at what they do.
They're good and they try to be convincing.
Right.
You know, just don't click on things that you don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell you just quickly. I had a family member, and she said we got a porn thing come up on her computer, and I unsubscribed. I said, "Oh no, don't do that." And she said, "Well, after I unsubscribed, I got a lot more." And she says, and I keep unsubscribing to all of them. I go, no,
Yep.
don't touch anything.
Yeah, if you let them know that
You're live.
communication channel is a source,
yeah.
they're going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
If you talk to them on the phone, you get put on a list, and you're going to get all the scam calls in the world.
Yeah, so you got to be careful.
Yeah,
But listen,
absolutely.
I want to thank you so much. We need to get you on again sometime to talk about
Yeah, absolutely.
this fraud, because I know we didn't cover everything, but we covered
Right.
enough to
Yeah.
kind of give people ideas. Don't click on anything. Don't answer the phone if you don't know their number. And, you know, just be cautious,
Yes.
because you give them information. You're the one that's the source.
Right.
Don't do it.
Can I just say one more
Yes,
quick
go right
thing?
ahead.
So do not ever give gift cards or cash to anyone, any federal
Unless
agents,
it's me. No.
the bank. No one's ever going to ask you to withdraw cash from your account
No.
to pay someone. That will never happen. And gift cards, the police will never ask you to pay for a gift card.
No.
It just
They
doesn't
I
happen.
even laugh when it's a government agency
Yeah.
and they say, and you have to send us gift cards. I said, what government agency is going to ask for gift cards?
But again, the people are under duress
Yeah.
when they're having these conversations.
They're not thinking.
So they don't realize it till after the fact, like this just happened.
Yeah. Thank you so much,
You're
Paul.
welcome.
You're a wealth of information,
Thank you.
very important. And that's Arrow Bank, so you can check them out too
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.